have been accomplished. Fort Portal, Mill Lane Road, Water Supplementary Road, Mugoma Road, and street lighting have been done. Kasese, Rwenzori Road, Bus Circular Road, 3rd Street, Kitakibi, Park Rise, Stanley Road, Margarito, rehabilitation of Mbogaboga Road have also been done. In Yumbe District, Market Resource Center and Playfield at Blakara, Market Resource Center and Playfield of Yoyo, Market Resource Center and Playfield of Rumunga, Playfield at Wadravu, Market at Kirikulinga, Resource Center at Aliwa, Resource Center at Odravu, Market at Kochi, Resource Center at Romogi, and Playground at Romogi, rehabilitation stroke construction of Yeto Kirunga Road, rehabilitation of Arwari Kiri Road, rehabilitation of construction of Rumika Bridge, rehabilitation and construction of Rumunga Baraka 11.48 kilometer have been done. Obongi District, Ndiri Market Resource Center at Utara and Polinya have been accomplished. Lomo District, Resource Center at Lomo Town Council and Market at Lagotio Puk and rehabilitation of Lamo TC, Parabek Kai have been done. Ajumani District, Leisure Park, Market and Resource Center at Kiraba Parish, rehabilitation of Kurukuru Zola Road, upgrading of 3.1 kilometers of Ajumani Town Council roads, Administration Road, that is Administration Road 1.44 kilometers, Yira Road 0.66 kilometers, and Market Road. Consultancy services for construction, supervision of upgrading of 3.18 kilometers of Ajumani Town Council roads to asphalt concrete surfacing and rehabilitation of 20.59 kilometers of Kurukuru Zoka Road in Usu John Sub-County have been done. Moyo District, marketing at Moyo Council has been worked on. Terego District, Resource Center at Playfield at Reju, TC, Oktan Market, Resource Center at Odup Sub-County, and roofing of pavilion and well fencing of Playfield at Reju, TC, construction of local sealing of 1.0 kilometer Amabua Road, rehabilitation of Aderiju Uliama Road, and construction of Nyala 2 Bridge. Arua District, construction of a Nyao Bridge on Awindo Ajon Road, and construction of a Nyao Bridge on Ondiakiri Congo Road. Works in refugee housing districts. Madi Okolo District, Market at Ayavu, Matagendik Market at Agibo Sub-County, Resource Center at Inde TC, Resource Center at Rigbo Sub-County, Playfield at District Headquarters, Resource Center at District Headquarters, Resource Center at Rhino Camp TC, and Resource Center at Ogoko Sub-County. Kiriandogo District, construction of 12-kilometer Nanda Popora Road and construction of Nyamsasa Playfield, construction of 50-meter culvert along the Boyare Nyamsasa Road and local sealing of Rift Valley Road, construction of bridge along Alalo Ogwalao Yabwenge Road, Karume Okweche Arero Swamp, construction of one gravel road, Nyakote Tekwa Chamaus Road, has been done. Kamwenge District. Construction of Witankanju Nsonoso Road, Bulambira Mikambo Bwitankanja Road, Mutwe Kamwere Road, construction of playground at Nkoma Katarieba, construction of resource center at Nkoma Sub-County, construction of market shed and taxi park at Nkoma Kitiareba Town Council, construction of resource center at Nkoma Katarieba, and construction of market shed at Nkoma Sub-County. Kamwenge District. Construction of Mabala Kibuga Lukunyu Hospital to gravel standard, construction of Businge Kantembwe Bulegeya Nkoma, and that is 24.48 kilometers, and to gravel standard. That has been done. Isingiro District. Construction of 8 seed roads totaling 7.089 kilometers, construction of 4 gravel roads, construction of 6 gravel roads, construction of 4 gravel roads, construction of Rushasha Parish Market, construction of a market at Chabuzare Trading Center, construction of Community Resource Center at Rushasha SC Headquarters, construction of daily market at Isingiro CBD, construction of a resource center at Isingiro District Headquarters, construction of 5 cross drainage structures at isolated locations, and construction of drains at 2 locations in the district, and construction of Nyungu to Rampaju cross drainage structures. Now go to the subheading of land management registration. The main activity here is the implementation of the Bamugamere Land Inquiry Report. The implementation of that report, however, has been delayed because it is still before a subcommittee of cabinet chaired by the Right Honorable Second Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Moses Ali, Right Honorable Moses Ali. So we shall have to wait a bit, but a report has been done. Cabinet will soon consider it and implementation will begin. Cabinet is considering a number of bills which have been presented before it. The Valuation Bill 2023, the Real Estate Bill 2023, Land Acquisition Bill 2023, Uganda Land Commission Bill 2023, Land Act Amendment Bill 2023, Architects Registration Amendments Bill 2023, and Housing Bill 2023. Those bills have been worked on and will soon be presented to Parliament. In total, government has so far used the land fund to acquire 334,458 acres of land, equivalent to 523 square miles of land across the entire country as part of government's strategy to stop evictions. This is a key NRM election manifesto program which will help sort out land disputes arising out of multiple interests on one piece of land. Currently, the land fund has covered Buganda, Bunyoro, Ankole, and Toro. For Bugisu, engagements have been carried out with the Kakunguru family to secure the land for the occupants. Some of Northern Uganda, Northern Division have begun to register, for certificates of occupancy. Titles have been processed by Uganda Land Commission and issued to sitting tenants in Kakumiro, Kagadi, Bulyangabu, and Kasese. Additional processes in Kikube are underway. Land Information System, LIS. The computerized system has decentralized land governance to 22 ministerial zone offices across the country. Achievements. The system has helped upgrade using open source technologies in all the 22 ministerial zone offices. Designed and developed new functionaries like evaluation and physical planning. Developed and rolled out and corporate web portal, starting with Kibuga and part of Chadondo. Trained on the operations and management of the system. Handling of land transactions submitted, queuing based on first in, first out, FIFO. Integrated with other government systems, URA, NIRA, KC, URSB banks, Administrator General, among others. Operationalizing the functioning of SMS notification. Migration of customary land titles into the land information system is underway. Upscaling, demarcation, and registration of land. Issuance of customary certificates of occupation to customary landowners is underway in Busoga, Namutumba, and Luka, Bugisu, Mbale district, and Mbale city, Karamoja, and Kabongo, Karenga, Moroto, Amadat, Napak, Nabila Tuk, and Kotido, Acholi, Nagago, Noya, Amuru districts, Teso, Soroti, Katakwi, and the Karaki districts, in Lango, Dokoro, and Amarota districts. CROs have been incorporated for clans and sub-clans. Next step is mapping and titling. Some indigenous communities have formed communal land associations and gotten the customary titles in Tepes, Pian, and Pokot in Karamoja. Clans in Acholi and West Nile, giving a total of customary land associations have been incorporated, and over 75,000 CCOs have been issued to customary landowners. Freehold land tenure, 500,000 titles are expected to be processed under SEDEP by the MZOs in the 32 districts of Bugiri, Tororo, Budaka, Butevo, Kibuku, Parisa, Busia, Kaberamaido, Omoro, Kitugumu, Kwania, Arbetong, Otuke, Kore, Buyende, Kaliro, Bugweri, Yumbe, Zombo, Arua, Koboko, Terego, Madi, Okero, Nebi, Karaki, Ngola, Amuria, Kabarole, Bunyangabu, Chenjojo, Chegegwa, and Masindi. This page gives the 75,000 CCOs which have been issued. I need not read that one in detail. The other interventions underway, we are rolling out the implementation of the Montgomery report and cleaning up the land registry and rectifying areas where land disputes are taking place. Work is underway in MZOs found in the Central Region, supporting the traditional cultural religious leaders in resolving customary land conflicts. Together with the Ministry of Local Government and Ministry of Internal Affairs resolving the district boundary disputes, curbing illegal land evictions through alternative land dispute resolution mechanisms, cooperating review of land laws and land regulations, sensitizing and creating public awareness on the importance to secure legal documentation. You can see a picture there taken when the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development in partnership with the European Union and the United Nations Capacity Development Fund is implementing a critical project to register customary land and certificate of custom ownership to families, clans in the West Nile region. Here, the President was giving out some of the few people as symbolizations. And then Apache District there, you can see His Excellency is giving out titles. And here, land titles being handed out to Karamoja, Kabale District. I wish to thank you for listening to me. I'm ready for question and answer session. If I can do that when I'm seated, maybe, but I can come back and answer from here.
Can we put our hands together and give a big applause to the Minister? Thank you, Honorable, for that. We are going to have an open session where we will be receiving questions and observations from the media and other members of the public that are here. Maybe before that, allow me to introduce to you some senior people within the House. I have the Senior Presidential Advisor on Manifesto and the Economic Affairs, Honorable Kamontu. I have the team I work with at the Manifesto Implementation Unit. I have my Deputy, Mzee Fred Kamjira, Assistant Director, Mzee Richard Bakoja, the technical team, the other side, senior economist and the other economist. Honorable Minister, we also partnered with ICT and National Guidance, so we also have the members of staff with us here. Can you stand up for recognition, those who are here? Okay, very good. The rest are members of the public and members of the media fraternity. This is a media interactive session, Honorable Minister, so don't mind about the absence of physical bodies, but you are talking to technology, and technology is taking the message up to the last point. We don't want it. We have the social media warriors and all forms of mediums of communication are within this House. So it's our honest thinking that this message you are giving to the country will be reaching the levels it is going to. Secondly, even in our local governments, our local leaders have also been tasked to explain to our citizens at that level, and more so the developments that have been made within these years in their localities where they are, so that the manifesto is lived. It is not seen to be in Kampala alone, but also at that level. And we are also sharing with them the content so that they can be able to update their data and then reach themselves in as far as communicating with the citizens is concerned. Land is a very big issue in this country and touches almost every citizen. It's a very interesting sector to the citizens. The unfortunate or fortunate part is that land in this country has become more political than a factor of production, and which impacts seriously on the implementation agenda of the manifesto. Many of these projects of infrastructure nature have a bearing on the land, especially in terms of acquisition, the costs involved. It's really a big factor as far as implementation is concerned. Before I invite the members, let's give the observations from the unit. The starting point, Honorable Minister, as a unit to, in the course of our monitoring, we have been able to engage the different local government leaders, and there are some observations of which we'll share with you. One of them, Honorable Minister, is the issue of land titles, forgeries of land titles, whereby you find there is a lot of overlapping of titles and other related forgeries and frauds that are within this sector. And if I believe this is not a story to you, you have been at the forefront of many of these struggles. I think land is also becoming another source of insecurity in this country because of the conflicts that are within this sector. Sometimes conflicts taking an extreme form, even to an extent of loss of lives. I believe your experience will have a story on how you have been able to deal with this. And we also want to commend the efforts of government, including your ministry, in trying to put to use the land fund and acquiring some titles for people who are landless to settle them. I think this is a very positive aspect as far as citizens living in their country in harmony and in a peaceful state. The other issue is where land titles are still being given in wetlands. Honorable Minister, the issue of environment has become very, very central in the transformation agenda for this country. We have started feeling the effects of the climatic changes, and then what we are witnessing is where there is impunity in the way people are dealing. Yes, we have issues of population explosion, but the way they encroach the wetlands, and which is destabilizing the whole ecosystem and leading to the effects which we have already experienced in this country. But what is surprising is also where people are claiming to be rightful owners, rightful rights because of the titles. And these titles are even as recent as past the 1995 Constitution. So we wonder if the policy position of government is very clear on the gazettement and the protection of these wetlands, why should the ministry still be issuing titles that touch the wetlands? We had a presentation here and another conversation with the Minister of Lands and Minister of Water and Environment, and this issue also came up. And we were wondering whether at political level, at strategic level, you don't meet so that you harmonize. If there could be gaps, people which citizens are taking advantage of, others say it's the Land Commission which has issued. It looks like we are not coordinated as government in terms of enforcing what I would call strategic interests. So it's a touchy issue. And also the district land boards, we don't know whether you have I know they are approved by the ministry, but we don't know whether you have some induction and some kind of capacity building to equip them with the necessary skills on how to deal with land issues, because I believe they are your eyes on the ground in the local governments, but sometimes they are very erratic in approach. Sorry, I missed your last part of presentation, and I don't know whether in your challenges that you have presented the country, whether you have put up the issue of corruption in your sector. And if it is not there, we thank God. But if it is there, you could share with us what are the efforts that are being put in place to make sure that this problem is minimized or reduced to non-tolerable levels. I think that's all from the monitoring unit. I now want to open the discussion to members. If you have any of your observations, members, this is the time now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm called Samuel Rawuso. I write for the East African Business Week newspaper. Honorable Minister, you talked about the issue of capitalization, of capitalizing the Administration Reserve under the Ministry, that is the Housing Finance Bank and the National Housing. Let me hear the decision that was taken, and if it was taken, what has been the positive impact on that capitalization? Because we're not seeing any housing being constructed, especially you say that the issue was construct houses for the public servants, for example, the nurses, teachers, and we have not seen any being constructed. Thank you.
Next.
Thank you for the presentation. My take is on the current budget that was read. There were some cuts towards the lands commission. What's your take on that? Would it affect your way of doing things as it's been previously?
Okay.
In terms of efficiency.
Somebody here?
Thank you, Honorable. My name is Nelson Mandela. I work with Developnment. My question is about the trade of land cases in Kosovo. The trade of land cases in Kosovo. Have you, as a ministry, tried to engage with the judiciary to at least make sure that the rightful owners can get back their land in the shortest time possible? Because we have seen, case taking about 25, 30 years. Thank you.
Okay, maybe Honorable Minister could also add the issue of physical planning and its implication on the growth, the urban growth in this country. How I think there is also a Physical Planning Act which provides for the physical planning committees in these local governments. Don't know whether they are also up to the responsibility or whether you organize some capacity building, and because we continue to see a lot of unplanned growth within these local areas. Can't the government take on the physical planning of all the urban areas and probably as an investment, and then you allow we have like a national master plan for all these urban growing areas, so that we have an organized way and these urban growth centers. We avoid issues like slums and the rest of the challenges that we get as these places translate into cities and other higher forms of urbanization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. You may go to use under the Department of Urban Development. Have you engaged yourself with other agencies like SCCA and the Ministry of Water in terms of the drainage systems, the sewage systems within the towns? 2, have you looked into the plans with Ministry of Works and Transport in terms of road reserves, being that you're the Minister of Urban Development? Thank you.
Honorable Kamont, I think you have something.
Just want to thank you, Master Seven, and I want to thank the Minister. Mr. Minister, part of the purposes of having the manifesto each year is to track on the journey we have set in 5 years, how far you are on track to fulfill the manifesto targets. And you have done an excellent presentation, but what we want in quantified form, some numbers to indicate to the nation 2 years in the town. Are you on track so that the remaining here, you have so many of them? Should we increase the land fund, solve the historical due ownership of land? Should cancel all titles that were issued to district boards on already occupied land, and so on, including cancelling titles on the same land, multiple titles. You have multiple titles on the same land. You fight the entrepreneur of land conflicts for a bunch of people. Here, I think you didn't get commended because you have been really, you have taken this with gas for energy. But the point I'm mentioning is, in your evaluation, whether what you have done, if I take numbers, 2 years out of 5 is almost like 40% accomplished, and you're remaining with 60%, and you're on track, or you're not on track, or if you're not on track, to what extent, so that in the next evaluation, you know where to focus and lead your action. Just thank you.
Thank you, and that's a very important observation. So since we no longer seem to have issues from the plenary, Honorable Minister, I take pleasure to invite you once again to come and make your responses, and where necessary you can invite your technical person to also make further clarifications. I thank you. Most welcome.
As the audience may know, really land is my cup of tea. I can answer very exhaustively almost every question and spend a whole day here. I really enjoy this land issue. And Professor, I always like wherever you raise issues. And I really, and everybody has noticed, he has taken his roles as the senior presidential advisor on Manifesto very, very seriously. I always see him. His comments are always, how far have you gone? This is a social contract with the people of Uganda. Now you have just said, you see, we have gone 2 years. That's about 40%. We have to fulfill this mandate. Professor, I also take it very seriously. And I believe your team, and I want to thank you very much for the really seriousness in which you and other colleagues and all of us together, we are putting through these things. Now I'll respond to a few things, and my technical person may add in. The issue of land titles, overlapping titles, 2, 3 titles on the same piece of land. This is a very serious issue which the manifesto set out to solve. I must state very clearly that, however, this is not the first time. It's a historical thing. Otherwise, it would not have existed in the Registration of Titles Act. I think it is Section 58, which gives that when the other titles, the first in time will prevail. So any other title which comes after it is invalid. So it was foreseen I think RTA came into existence around 1920s there. So it is not a new thing. But it had escalated to far beyond what was expected to be a normal error or a normal aberration. So much that it was necessary to put it in the manifesto. Now, what happens and what used to happen before the land information system was put in by the government, particularly by His Excellency, because he was the one who personally approved the funds from the World Bank, which has put up the system. It was a manual system. So one would pull out that file, and that file gets lost. So once, because it is a theft organized, so the person behind the whole thing would go and declare that the title is lost and cannot be found. So a special title is found. Now is made. Now when a special title is made, remember it is all a fraud, the other title still remains. Somebody is staying in his house, believing his land is safe, but somebody is making another title. So when the special title is done, the file is put in place, back in place, somebody has a title already in his house, an old person somewhere thinks he has his land safe, but another title is in place. Now, this title could be maybe a leasehold. Somebody then if it was Milo, he gets a leasehold title out of it. So now you have another second title. Then that one gets lost and all these titles. Now, this has been solved with the installation now of the new land information system. With the land information system in place, it is impossible to have these 1, 2, 3 titles on the same piece of land. What happens with the system is that everything is digitalized. And what is put in the system, once in that system, the title is in such a way that you have, first of all, your ID particulars on it, in the system, and all your biodata. And when the title is issued out, that title has the security feature, just like a note. So that when you want to, a currency note, just like a currency note. So you can, if somebody else is going to try and fidget with it, when it is tested, it will spark with that flash. So it's not possible. Again, that security, that title now, which comes out with a new system, has a special peculiar number. No other title has that number. That feature was not there on the other titles. On the other title, there was only the instrument number. Now there's a feature number. Also, that title has your national ID number. And you know your number is unique to you. And the other, it is there on that title. And also that title has a seal. That seal is so strong to go through. It's not like the other seals, which were a bit clumsy. And at the back of it, there's also a mini title, which shows all the other at the end of the title. So that title is very, very, very secured. And when another person is trying to transact on it, the system will reject. It is digitalized, put in, somebody is trying to put a caveat. The portal, which has come out, has been tested in Kampala, it's working. We are working to get it all over the country. So the moment one is trying to transact on your land, it flashes, it warns you on your mobile number. Your mobile number is also featured there, here in the title. So that you can be in New York, if the portal gets working completely, and you check and you see what's in your title. If somebody is trying to put a caveat or to somehow in any way fix your title, an alarm will come on your phone, and you check something's happening on my title. So the issue of double titling has been solved by the land information system, which is the one of its kind in Africa. And we must thank His Excellency because he personally approved this. There's a special person in the World Bank who monitors it. Any other week at the Land Information System headquarters on Yusuf Road, there's a delegation from other African countries coming to see our system. And also, this covers the water, the wetlands, the forests, the national parks. Now it is impossible to get a title in the wetlands because the moment somebody is trying to get it, the system will reject the title. Or there's still a backlog. Some titles are still on manual, but we have a deadline. We believe that by end of, I think it was given about October, all the titles would have, there would be no backlog, would be on the system. And now we shall just go on to the portal to make sure that everybody, whoever has that number, that mobile number on that title, whenever anything happens, anywhere you are, the URA has been voted, so you can just pay the necessary search fee and you access your title. That has been solved. And are people acquiring titles and living in harmony? That's what in the Bible is, that I think it is in Isaiah, where they show that picture of that wonderful place in heaven, where the lion and the sheep live together in harmony. That's what will happen, because now the Chibanja holder has been fighting with the mile owner eviction. Now with everybody with the title, everybody will live in harmony. Everybody has his title. The delay has been in, of course, in the funding. Once the funds are availed in the land information, in the land fund, number one, everybody on the public land in Uganda, by law existing as I speak now, can apply for a title on his Chibanja or customer holding and get it without paying a premium. So everybody in Uganda on public land can get a title. I think some people have not been sensitized enough, but we are trying to do it. But the law is clear. Anybody in Uganda on public land can get a title by applying to the district land board and does not have to pay a premium. And then it is processed. So everybody on public land potentially is free. Then those who do not have title are protected under section Article 237, subsection 8. They are protected. They have security of occupancy. And as lawyers know, occupancy is 70% ownership. So a Chibanja holder who has no title yet is fully protected by law. And for that, with the two presidential directives, the one which was issued, the first one was 22nd August 2013, that's about 20 years ago, and another one 28th February, protecting those on the land who have not yet got titles. But soon, Professor, the lion and the sheep will live together in harmony. The district land boards. You know, I think you've read about my battles with the district land boards. I was surprised when, for example, I issued a deadline to district land boards that those who have not filed last year's report by 35 should not proceed in the next year. A whole district chairperson, I think of Wakiso, went up and said, we are not going to observe this. A whole member of parliament stood on the floor of parliament and opposed it. Said the man, I think there was even a colleague, a cabinet colleague, who said, no, don't observe this. But how would you give accountability to the district and boards were given a lot of powers by the Constitution. In the exercise of their duties, they are answerable to no man or authority. But they have got to follow the policies of the district and the national land policy. So in pursuit of that, knowing that they are not answerable to nobody, Section 60 of the Land Act states that in their performance of their duties, they have to file an annual report, which is discussed by the District Land Board Executive Committee, and they take into account the observation of the district team in the new year. And then the Minister of Lands uses that report to monitor and to advise whether they are following the land policy. Now, if you don't file that report, you cannot proceed on the next year. But our LC5, who is supposed to receive the report, is saying it doesn't matter. Chairman of Kampala Land Board said, I even took because I happen to have found annual report which was done by the then District Land Board of Kampala. I think that was 2013. And I had a press conference and I said, this is what I'm talking about. But I'm happy to report that although my action had been negatively received, they are now complying. Enough of them are compliant. We have no teeth. We cannot dismiss them, although we appoint them. Maybe we are thinking of taking to cabinet proposals on how we can monitor and at least bite teeth. But for me, I thought that because I think Section 59 or 58 of the Land Act gives power to the District Land Executive Committee to discipline any land board member who is incompetent. So I thought if I issue this notice to say, you people, you have not filed the annual report, therefore there's no report for the District Executive Committee to consider, and therefore no report for the Minister of Land to monitor your performance and advise. I thought that was enough, and I settled in my letter that this is enough for you Executive Committee to take action because this is indiscipline and this is non-performance. But they didn't take. But now they are doing so. Because we said we shall withdraw our services because they depend on our survey services, on our valuation services, and we're the one who issue the report. But we still have a lot to do, and I think we should have a program in place before they take office. We should make sure they go through some kind of training. I personally have written something which a small booklet, which I haven't yet published, of the frequently asked questions. And sometimes when I go to a district, I explain to them, and you see they don't know anything. When I was in Kasese, the chairman of the land board said, hey, but when we're making decisions in a district land board, everybody votes, the land officers, every member of the executive committee. But then what's the use of appointing you and giving you special powers when everybody else votes? He said, but, and when you look at the chairman, the fellow has not been schooled. He lacks all knowledge concerning land and land transactions. There are very many areas. The Land Act, for example, Section 59, 1A, any piece of land which is occupied is not available for allocation. But they go and allocate. If it's occupied by an authority, it's not available. They go ahead and allocate. And then Section 59, as amended, is very clear. It is void. But somebody goes around with that. But now with the land information system, since the wetlands are all factored in, and we are insisting that also should indicate whether that land is occupied or not, it will minimize, not completely eliminate, because you can't therefore dispense with this, giving some lesson to these boards, land boards. There's this corruption in lands. Anybody who is 25, I think, has encountered with land office. Everybody who gets some money, you want to get some land. And you know the problem of corruption in lands is endemic. The whole country must fight it. And if I stand here and say it doesn't exist, you all know that I'm telling lies. I can tell you now, Professor, you know, one time I tried to close the Wakiso office, and then just on, that was Thursday, on Saturday I was taking some tea, and one of my best friends, a lawyer, had been sent by a clerk, not a clerk really, a filing clerk. Please let him allow me to stay, keep my job here. I'll give him 20 million this very weekend. She earns less than 500,000. How can she get to 20 million? So I think we still have work to do in the registries, in the surveys, survey department. How do you survey water and put a title when the constitution there is very clear? Water, there's somebody with a title in Lake, here in Lake Vic in Ruzira. A title is in water. And then he first declares it a customary holding. How have you been customary living on water? Then he now applies to get a freehold title on water. And then you take that title to be compensated. And you get actually compensated. Why shouldn't those people be arrested? Certainly. As I said, it is very easy to catch these people, the corruption in lands, especially those issuing titles in wetlands, in parks, in forests, because you actually see who surveyed, who valued, the cartographer, the registrar who finally issued that title. You can actually follow it up. So I agree, sir, and Professor, I'm sure, agrees. We still have work to do. And we have a social contract, as he's always said, with the people of Uganda to make sure that we eliminate these malpractices. The physical planning, before we get to that, the delay in land cases in court. Of course, these are what the government has done, and the Chief Justice has been putting a lot of pressure to His Excellency, the President, give us more money so that we appoint more judges and more magistrates. Then the backlog in cases will be handled. What they have done in other countries, they have got special courts for land matters. I was watching how Bamugamere Commission was conducting, because they handled some cases. A case is registered, handled immediately, given a date, and the case is handled and finished that very date. Because surely the man is taking over my chibanja, and then I go and file a case which will be heard next year. And then next year when it is called, maybe the lawyer on the other side is not there, maybe the magistrate say it is pushed over. Now you have some classic case of like one of Mutu, of Dr. Kasasa, where it has been in court for 20 years. The matter has never been heard substantially. The substantive matter has never been heard for 20 years. If the matter, it was filed when he was, now he's 80. If he was 80, now he's 100. The matter has not been heard. So I think there's a case for special courts for land matters. The land matter should be like a commercial court. A special division commercial court was put there, and with specific timelines to handle cases. It had been working properly. Let us have something special for land. Somebody files this case today, he knows that there's, by law, it cannot be more than 10 days before it is finally disposed of. And then appeal system is made within those special courts. I hope that I really support that kind of measure, because we can. The ordinary court system is made for ordinary cases. It's a contract you file, and then you can afford maybe to wait for some time. But somebody has entered my chibanja, somebody is evicting me. The time is of essence. So I agree that I think there's some work. Professor, contract, you always remind us. It is a social contract. We have 3 years left, and we need to clean this up. Physical planning committees, I think the technical person will help me on this. The urban development, again, I think he will help me on that. Otherwise, I thank you very much for these responses. And for the time now, this is what I can respond.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for responding to nearly most of the questions. I will only add to what my minister actually has already said, and I will start with on the issue of the land fund. I know today we are issuing titles in Kagadi to over 1,000 families under the land fund. So this is one of the commitments that we are striving as much as possible to make sure that landowners do acquire legal documentation, especially those where government has used the land fund to buy land from absentee landlords. On the issue of the district land boards, we are having and planning for a number of capacity building sessions for them. Soon we shall be in Lango to train and build the capacities of the district land management institutions in Lango. We shall start with Lira, Dokolo, and Amolata. On the issue of corruption, as a ministry, we have tried to ensure that we always have the land awareness weeks. We also have had the barazas, where our ministers actually attended to so many of them to listen to the people, bring their complaints, and make sure that we address those complaints to logical conclusion. We also publish a list of the titles that have been published in the Uganda Gazette and put it on social media on a monthly basis, so that if anybody out there, especially those in the diaspora, who might not know that their titles have appeared, you know, it actually gives them alert, and we have actually stopped a number of specials in the name of the owners submitting them. Now, we also have land registry open days, and at these we invite the public to come. We tell them what we do, what each department does, and we even give them the fees that they're supposed to pay, the procedures, and all documentation. We hope and ask them that in case anything comes up here, it's important that they actually report issues of corruption. The ministry has come up with the materials for zero tolerance to corruption, and these have been distributed countrywide. There was the issue of recapitalizing the bank. This one, I am aware that under the Housing Directorate, there is an ongoing intervention to come up with a housing mortgage facility. And once it is done and completed, monies are going to be put into it, and it is these monies which are going to be used actually to be accessed in order to build houses for civil servants and other categories of persons. So that is also work in progress, but it is still at the planning stage. On budget cuts, it is true that these affect all of us, but if there are budget cuts, we usually look for solutions. And from a technical point of view, what we have decided to do is to work with partners. We look out for civil society organizations who we can partner with and have a shared responsibility. But ultimately, the issue of the final documents is work of government. They help us and support us in the sensitization and mobilization, signing of forms, all those. translating documents into local language. Then we come in and we do this with them from the sub-counties. Sometimes they even help us and go up to villages. So it is something we have not decided to cry that because we don't have money we shall not implement. No. But we have looked for innovative ways to see how we can push forward the agenda and achieve the issues that are in the manifesto. On the issue of physical planning, government has just approved the National Physical Development Plan. This is the first ever in this country has had, and this plan has provided all what has to be done on the land, on the land in this country from now until 2040. It has looked at the issues of human settlements, the growth centers, the road network systems, land use for agriculture, and all these. What is remaining now, since it was approved by cabinet, is to have it laid in cabinet, in parliament, and then we shall be rolling it out to the sensitization and show people what has to be done and how we have to comply with that plan. There was the issue of urban development, KCCA and Ministry of Water, and whether we engage with each other. Yes, indeed, we work in a coordinated manner. We actually are working with KCCA, Ministry of Water and Environment, and the National Forestry Authority to make sure that we do not only curb or stop the issues that were mentioned of drainage, but even these issues of road reserves, forest reserves. There are a lot of challenges there that we have to address. Issues of encroachment, cancelling of titles, these are many. Soon you will see something on, of course, the standard gauge railway is coming up, and it is actually known that in some areas where the standard gauge railway is going to pass, these areas are wetlands, and we know that in some of those areas there may be titles. So it is something that we still have to follow up and work up with them and see how we shall address these in a coordinated manner. Lastly, on the issue of how we have performed and whether we're on track, through you, Honorable Minister, I think we actually have covered about 47% of what we have done, and I think we are on track. If we can carry out our interventions under the Competitiveness Enterprise Development Projects and those of USMID, within the next 2 years, we shall be able to achieve these targets. I thank you.
Big applause to the Minister and the Technical Officer. So, Honorable Minister, I want to thank you. And like Honorable Kamont observed, we still have to, as we continue in the subsequent years or going forward, we really want you to continue evaluating yourselves along those lines, along the commitments as registered in the manifesto. So, members, I think this marks the end of this session. We want to thank you for the support and the partnership, and it is still our request and plea that let these facts be relayed to the workings of government. We will begin again, once again, on Monday, because we have another week of cabinet ministers coming to update the country. So much as it is called a week, but it runs for 10 days. So we continue to appeal to you to be here on Monday, and we continue with this partnership of making sure that our citizens are informed and try as much as possible to put facts as they are. Don't speculate anymore, because the facts are here. The only thing you can add is probably to verify further or validate further what we have given you is really on the ground. But short of that, don't create your own stories. Secondly, the media space is also liberalized in this country. And we know there will be many other people who would want to come and present their views. But now you are armed. You have the facts. So put them, for those who may try to say government has not been working, they want to distort the facts. One of the reasons why we have the Manifesto Week is also to dispel and to demystify some of those non-founded facts with the facts. And we look forward to, by the conclusion of the Manifesto Week, to have an informed citizen, an informed media industry, which is a medium of information, and us, the people who are serving the government, to be able to have something to pride about as far as our efforts are concerned. So that marks the end. Stay blessed. Have a nice weekend, and God bless you all. Thank you. Honorable Minister, as part of the tradition, we request you for a photo opportunity outside here, and we call it a day.
Thank you very much for thank you. You see somebody's